Hello, America. This is Call of Duty Goddess. Today is May the 6th, 2016. I did a couple of videos, a part 1 and 2, titled Bombshell, What is Going On in This School? And I've noticed some comments from children that go to that school, and it's very disturbing to me because it seems as though these children think it's their fault or that I'm bashing their school. Well, I am not bashing your school. I am bringing awareness to what is going on all over our country in every school. Maybe this will make you feel better, and this will give you an example as to where I'm going with this. The questionnaires that were filled out by students should have been filtered through that teacher. The teacher should have known better than that. I'm not out to get anyone's job. But at the same token, I've had a situation happen to my son when he was 15 in school. Let me relay that situation to you. I'll try to explain everything so you can understand it all, and this may take a bit. My son, I have two children, a daughter and a son. My daughter graduated with honors at the top of her class. My son, however, is very intelligent as well, but he's just a little on the lazy side. But that has nothing to do with this. Neither of them had any kind of behavioral problems in school whatsoever. Never had a detention, either of them. So imagine my surprise when I got a call from school. Actually, my husband did. I was working. My husband got a call from the principal of the school saying that my son was being suspended for threatening and intimidating another student. My son then asked the principal what he did, what was the circumstances. My son is not a violent person. He's a very easygoing, happy-go-lucky kind of kid. And the principal then relayed to my husband that my son was being suspended for pointing a finger gun at another student. And my husband said, "You're kidding, right? This is a joke, right?" And the principal said, "No, no." So my husband was very angry and he called me. And I was at work, I immediately dropped everything and went directly to the school to find out what the situation was. I didn't call anyone. I just went right in there. So I went in and talked to the principal. Actually, it was the vice principal who suspended my son. And I went to ask him what the problem was, what had happened. Well, first of all, there was no report written up, nothing in writing, nothing that I could see. The principal really did not know the vice principal actually did not know the situation, the details of the situation. He said, "Well, I'll call your son and bring him down and he'll tell you what happened." So I was sitting in the office. He called my son down and my son explained what happened. This is what my son said. We were in class. I finished our assignment early, along with another student that sits within eyeshot of me. This other student was, they were being quiet because they had to be quiet in class. So the other student, he took a finger gun and pointed it to his head and held up the paper, like, and shot himself in the head like, this is boring, this is awful. And my son chuckled. And the kid held up the paper and my son shot at the paper with a finger gun. And the kids were, shooting at the paper with a finger gun. The teacher, whom I like very much, she's a very nice lady. I went in and talked to her, in fact, but we'll get to that later. The teacher had to report the boy that she saw, which was the other kid pointing a finger gun. She had to report saying that he pointed a finger gun at my son. And it was all in jest. It was funny to them, and they were actually not shooting at each other. They were shooting at a paper that the kid was holding in his hand. My son was suspended for threatening and intimidating this child. The other child was suspended for threatening and intimidating my son as well. Well, of course, I objected to this, and my only recourse was to ask the assistant superintendent of the schools for a hearing. I did that. I had a hearing. I went in. I went over 3 of the school rule books and policy books. It took me a week. I went over them. I had my case all laid out. Now, there is still, to this day, I have not received a written statement of what happened in that school that day. There's nothing in writing. Nothing. I went to the hearing, presented my case. The assistant superintendent of the school said, "We will contact you in writing within a week and give our decision." The assistant superintendent of schools wrote me back the following week telling me that my son was no longer suspended for the day for threat and intimidation. He was suspended for not following the rules. He was suspended for insubordination. Okay? After that, I then went and had a conference with the teacher that the class happened in. Teacher's a very nice person. My conversation with her was, I asked her, what happened? How did this happen? Well, she had no idea that my son was suspended, number one, and I believe her. Could be a lie. I don't know though, but I believe her. I think she's a nice person. She also continued to tell me that she puts my son in a spot that where she is sitting at her desk. It's the only blind spot in the room where she cannot see what my son is doing. She said she purposely puts my son there because she knows he's a well-behaved kid. I'm not tooting my own horn here. I'm simply stating what the teacher stated. Okay? She puts him behind this large pole that where she's sitting at her desk. She can't see him because she knows, he won't do anything wrong. Well, anyway, when she had told the principal about the student shooting the finger gun at my son, the child said, "Well, he did it to me too. Why are you suspending me?" So that is how my son was then suspended as well. I then asked the teacher, "What is the rule? Can you show me a policy that tells you that if you see a child pointing a finger gun that they have to be suspended?" She could not come up with a rule for that because there is none. She was told by the principal what to do. That's what they have to do. That's what she told me. Then, as I was starting to get on my school and take care of the situation, this Oregon thing happened. And moral of the story here, I want to tell you. Now, why on earth would a child be suspended for threat and intimidation when, number one, they had no kind of disciplinary action in school whatsoever? Why would they get suspended for that? Number two, why would they suspend them for threat and intimidation when the 2 children were actually joking around and doing it in jest and shooting at a paper? Why would that happen? I will tell you why. This is a slight type of indoctrination. This indoctrination is to make you understand that guns are bad. It's a bad gun indoctrination. And take it any way you want it. You can take it any way you want it. Because what my son and what this other child did was simply in jest and joking around. They had no business suspending my son or this other child for a day for threat and intimidation. And then, And then, I took it to a higher level, and they came back and said it was insubordination, that my son was told to stop when the teacher told him to stop. Well, I have it right out of the teacher's mouth that she didn't even see my son do it. So this is a systemic problem throughout our country with all schools. It's not just the school in Vail, in Malheur County. I hope I pronounced that right. And if I didn't, oh well, it's just a word. But the point of the story is our country, our federal government has taken over the teaching of our children. You are not learning what you're supposed to be learning in school. And that is my problem. So your school is not bad. What happened in your school, I'm thinking might be just a picnic compared to what happened to my son in his school. But it's a systemic problem that's happening all over the nation. And the kids that commented on this, I hope you're watching this because it has nothing to do with you. You need to be going to the movies. You need to be having fun and enjoying your life. Because this is an adult problem and it has nothing to do with you. So please don't think this has anything to do. If any of you made the questionnaires or filled out the questionnaires, well, it's not your responsibility to worry about what you put on there. It is to an extent of what grade you're going to get, or if you could be punished or reprimanded for what's on the paper, but it is ultimately the teacher's decision on what is showed in that class, what is handed out in that classroom. And my main concern with that is the questionnaire on the guns, because I believe what Mr. Applegate says. He's a parent, he's concerned. There's nothing malicious intended in this. It's about getting to the truth. It's about stopping our children, our future, from being indoctrinated, from believing things that are not true. And I want to leave you, this person that I'm making the video for, I want to leave you with a question. And that question is, who is the person who created the American flag? And I want everyone to put the answer down in the comment section on this video. Who made the American flag? I want you to answer that question for me. This is Call of Duty Goddess signing off, and as always, I've got your 6.